All right, let's wrap it up now. So we'll take a look at some earnings report now. Let's start from GTCO as we'll take a look at the fourth quarter earnings for 2022. From 2021 year on year now to 2022 fourth quarter result, we've seen that gross earnings rose from 447.81 billion naira to 539.23 billion. You see it on the screen for you now. That's about 20% there. Profit after tax jumped from 100, a decline, by the way, from 174.84 billion in the fourth quarter of 2021 to 169.17. That's about in the negative territory of 3% there. Earnings per share, take a look at it, from 6.14 to 5.95, all in the red there. Profit margin there for you, 39.04% to 31.37% in the fourth quarter. Ambrose, let's start from you. Take a look at the dividend as well. So do you think this is a great loss for the company?
No. I would say it's a great loss. This is a misnomer that's also pointing to somewhere. And when we say fourth quarter, we're talking about the full year 2022, because this audited account for GTCO, it moved, like you just said, 20.4% up in the green, and we saw a marginal decline. And we have said more on what caused the decline in PAT as a result of huge impairment that these banks were, they provided for the Ghana debt crisis, as a sovereign there that has problem in their payment. And for that, our banks can see with this number that the banks say that they are going somewhere, even with all the payment. By like GTCO made more than 36 to 38 billion in payment for that period. Still, they have been an earning per share of 5.95 kobo against 6.14 kobo. For me, this number is not an attractively bad number. Just a misnumber with a profit margin of 31. That means in every 1 naira they made in that 539.2 billion, they are retaining almost 31 kobo as a profit. It tells you that our banks are well run. With this, especially GTCO, consider that they are more efficient, and for me, it's a good one for GTCO. If this trend is sustained and this current financial year, I believe that we'll see a better payout, and also this will support the price.
Yeah. Okay. So let me come to you, Oladibano. What's your thoughts?
My thought, I will just add to what my colleague has said. It has been is a very good number, so to say, because if not because of the payments, the EPS, the earning per share, is supposed to be higher than that, and the dividend to investors is supposed to be higher. Even despite that, they still had a good one, and the dividend yield in terms of the share price as this time we are, I think GT is still doing around 25 naira, and the dividend yield is still above 10% compared to many other companies on the world.
Okay, let's proceed now. So take a look at the next one here. Access Corp, if you look at the earnings from 2021 to 2022, the report says that the gross earnings jumped from 972.89 billion in the fourth quarter of 2021 to 1.39 trillion naira. That's more than 42% in the green there. Profit after tax, if you look at it, 160.2 to 160.2 billion to 152.2. But there's a decline there, -5 there. And if you look at the earning per share, how impressive it is, 4.58 in 2021 fourth quarter, and 4.44 in 2022 full year there. And if you look at the profit margin and dividend, there's a bit of a difference there. So let me start from you, Ambrose. Talk to us about this. How impressed are you with these numbers?
No, I would say that in investment, investors look the way of earnings and they are smiling. But for we traders,
that's the way you're smiling now. I look at oh my goodness. I mean, it's huge at 972.49 billion to 1.39 trillion.
For me, we look at the sentiment behind this number.
Right.
Access Corp have really changed the perception of investors concerning the group. It shows that this is a group that are smart and also set for a better game for investors going to the future. I want to start this way. If you look at the industry, with the result we are seeing now, Access is leading in the terms of gross earning about 1.3 trillion. No, I tell you, most of the banks, even the other first year that are number one, GTB and the Zenith Bank, yes, in terms of profit profitability level, they are better than Access Bank. But in terms of gross earning, I tell you that when you see a gross earning that you are like this, you tell that the company is eating into other people's market. That's why they are expanding their world, their gross earning. And that is another way because they are continuing to acquire banks, within and outside Nigeria. That's also boosting their world, their top line. But at the end of the day, every investor looking at what would be the bottom line after you have paid your cost of operation, your salary, your tax. On the tax side, it shows that the bottom line is that the expansion is still representing on the top line, yet to represent what on the bottom. That means when the store started, we will all call consolidation. We will not see it on the bottom line. But coming out with this kind of impressive payout to investors, it said that they have the interest of what investors in mind. That means these have told investors that yes, you can invest in assets and go to sleep. Why? This bank is continuing, but I believe that for me, for this 2023, assets to start slowing down in terms of acquisition and start working on consolidating the acquisition so that we start seeing the bottom line. But this number for assets for me is a mind-blowing number. Why? They've told the other banks in Nigeria that you are still behind us, we are going somewhere. Once you settle down, the bottom line, what others are looking at, will come to compete there with you. But this payout for me is a good one. It shows that, like I said earlier, but the sentiment on this number is what we saw yesterday. Go and check all the companies that released results, the banks. No one released results and gained 10% in that day. For Access did that. The one that did that, gave me 10%. That means that there's something special in Access for what for this.
So Bano, talk to us. What would you attribute these impressive results to?
Is as what my colleagues is as a
Hello, Mr. Bano, are you there? Well, I wanted to ask Bano if he can, talk to us on his take on these. But while we're waiting for that, let me quickly bring in.
Hello.
Okay, please go ahead.
Yeah, the impressive earning from the Access Bank as a result of their recent acquisition they've made in the another part of the world, other part of the country, is that they've had this.
Okay, let me proceed and look at the next result here. Perhaps this is where we call it a day. UCAP result looks like it's impressive. If you look at the gross earnings from 4.21 billion naira in the first quarter of 2022 to first quarter of 2023, you look at 5.3 billion. So there's a jump of 26% there. And if you look at a profit after tax from 2.31 billion in the first quarter of 2022 to 2.44 billion in the first quarter of 2023. Earning per share and the profit margin looks impressive there. So Banu, give us your parting shot on Access Corp and UCAP so that we can wrap up and then we can come to see here.
Yeah, from the Access Corp, we begin to see that impressive growth in their revenue, and also because of their expansion, they've had much of expenses in that side. So as a result of the what we call it, the impairment fee, we talked about that earlier, they had that decline in their growth. So despite that, they still able to impress significantly in their dividend to the investors. By and large, as my colleague said, no company this year have released their full year result and go away with 100%, 10% increase in the market on that day. So I think it's a very good one, and I begin to, in the future we begin to see a kind of slowdown in terms of acquisition from Access Bank. On the UCAP, because of from the UCAP side, because of the as an investment holding company, so they've been able to expand their investment and also able to have various form of return in various investment they've had. So that's a very good one, and we expect more of increase in investors compensation for the full year, and possibly for the interim dividend.
Okay, finally, Ambrose, your final take, especially with regards to UCAP.
Yes, well, on UCAP, for me, UCAP has started on a good note for 2023. And also, don't forget that UCAP is doing investment banking or investment world. Though now they are going to micro bank, CBN have given them macro license to now. But only thing that the transaction they've done in the month of April, the first month and second quarter, say that UCAP should pay because you can see all the deals in Transcorp and Transcorp, all of them is being handled by for UCAP. I say that these are the things that give UCAP a lot of resources and revenue at the end of the day. You can see while other stockbroking firms are looking for what to do, you can see the transaction that's going on in UCAP. This is a boost for them, and more will come because I tell you what we are seeing in Transcorp will continue till even the end of May. And if that is also when Transcorp wants to go to other business within that group, it's still the same UCAP will be handling them. And for me, it's a good business that investors look at financial service providers that are strong and their earnings are looking good. For me, this is a good start. I said earlier, a good start for UCAP. And investors know that UCAP, on their quarterly numbers, if they sustain it at the end of the year, the final quarter, that is where you see the better number. For those that are long-term investors, you can start building for traders. We might not see too much move in UCAP price because of this number, but towards the end of the year, because you know that they don't do intraday dividend in UCAP. For me, people that I think long term to watch the price and see a good time to enter. This is a good sign that they are starting well. For me, investor in the market should know where to put their attention now because I tell you, this Q1 number will help everyone to know where to position for 2023.
Okay, all right. Numbers are very, very critical to decision making when it comes to investment as in the capital market. Well, on that note, we want to thank you, Ambrose Omodion, Chief Research Officer, Investor Consulting Limited. Thank you for coming on Analyst Hangout this week. And Olaidebano is a macroeconomic analyst. He joins us virtually. Thank you for your time on the program this week.